Andrea, tell me a little bit about what brings you into career counseling today.
So I'm new to my job. I've only been here about 7 weeks. And we just found out earlier this week in a meeting with our dean that they are planning to close down our counseling program.
Well, that sounds like some pretty unfortunate news.
Yeah, I mean, I was totally blindsided. I was just
Wow.
like in this new job, like chugging along, trying to get used to things. And then suddenly it's like, you're not going to have a job anymore.
So, how are you reacting to this news?
Um, I'm not even sure. It's like kind of surreal,
Uh-huh.
like because we're also working from home.
Oh,
So like I was in this meeting and they said all these things. And then I just logged off and I was like still in my living room in my pajama bottoms.
but
Where,
potentially not having a job.
yeah, it's like I went from like in my pajama bottoms before the meeting, having a job. And it's like 30 minutes later and it's like, oh, I'm still in this like same spot, but now I don't have a job. So
Mhm.
it was really surreal.
Yeah, it sounds like the working from home situation was not something you expected.
Um, I mean, yes and no. Like I knew when I took the job that we were going to be online because of COVID.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, that's not the long-term plan. But so I knew I was going to be working from home, but it was also weird because like I have never actually met my coworkers in person. So
Ah,
it's kind of isolating to be like, oh, I don't really know like who to talk to about this, which is kind
mhm.
of why I came to see you.
Yeah,
Like,
feeling very isolated. And I
yeah.
imagine it's especially isolating for you to log on to this meeting in your pajama bottoms and find out that your program's getting eliminated. And then you're just all by yourself in your
Mhm.
house.
Yeah, and it was super weird. And I think like, yeah, I also had to teach that day. And so then it was kind of like,
Oh,
oh, what are my
switching
students going to
gears.
know? And like, how do I go on pretending like things are normal in any way?
Yeah. I would imagine to get your position, you've had to go through quite a lot of preparation and training and quite a process to get to this program. And now finding out that your job has been eliminated must be really difficult.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I applied to jobs for months and um, ended up actually turning down some other jobs because I really liked this one the best and thought it was
Mhm.
going to be the best fit. And so, yeah, there's kind of all that things running through my head of like, oh, I should have picked a different job because this one's not turning out to be what I thought it would be. And because it is such a process to get a job, it's
Mhm.
not like I can just go out and like,
Just find another one.
yeah, like that's probably gonna take and like I'm not getting fired, like I have to leave tomorrow,
Mhm.
but it's just frustrating to think that I spent like 6 months job searching and to think
Mhm.
like I'm gonna have to now spend the next 6 months doing that.
Sounds exhausting.
Yeah, I never anticipated that I would get a job and then immediately have to start looking for a new one.
Gosh, like I don't even know what I would do if that was the situation that I was in.
Well, but I need you to tell me what to do.
Well, we could do a card sort or something, I guess. That just sounds awful.
I mean, what would you do?
Oh gosh. Well, I did almost get fired once and it was
Yeah.
yeah, it was really rough. But luckily I got this job here. So,
Mhm.
I was able to leave before I got fired,
Oh, okay.
which was helpful.
Mhm.
So it sounds like for you, having to navigate this job search process again is really overwhelming to think about.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't want to say it's different from other jobs because I don't know about like all the other jobs.
Well, I can tell you about all the other jobs.
Yeah, like
But
what was it like for you? Like when you got a job?
um, well, I had to interview a lot of places, but I did go to a really good school. So my counselor training is like pretty good.
Mhm.
So, there are just a lot of settings where I know there are a lot of settings where you don't get to do what you want to do, right?
Mhm.
Sounds like that's kind of the situation for you. Like you don't get to do what you want to do
I mean, I guess like
anymore because they're cutting your program.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like because I feel like I mean up until like the time when this happened, like I did like my job,
Mm.
and so I think that's like the hard part because you're just like not expecting it.
Yeah, well, like if you're just getting settled in and you're finding parts of your job that you really like and getting into a rhythm, it's probably really hard to get this really like this news that just totally puts a stop to a lot of things, or totally disrupts this process of getting integrated into your space.
Yeah. And then like there's this whole thing because obviously like now the students are freaking out
Oh yeah.
because they have found out.
So they look to you and your leadership to know how you're handling it, and you don't really know how to handle it.
No, because like, they're like, oh my God, what do we do to save the program? And I'm like, I don't know. I've been here for 7 weeks. I don't know anything about it. So yeah, that's kind of a weird position of like, they're looking to me to know what to do. And like, I barely like set foot on the campus. Like I have no idea how to help.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you don't really know what to do.
No, definitely.
Yeah. Because it sounds like you have a thought of like, I'll just go look for another job, but I don't really want to do that. And maybe I'll stay here, but I don't know what's going to happen. It's a pretty unstable place.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to just bail because like I have coworkers and if there's ways to like stay and fight and like do things, like I want to be a part of that, but also like I definitely don't want to like be without a job. Like I don't want to end up in a situation where I like don't have a job and can't pay my rent.
Sure. So what do you think you're going to do?
I don't know. That's why I'm here, because I don't know what to do.
Yeah. So I think I can hopefully be helpful in maybe a couple of ways. So, we can explore some different career assessments to help you just get a better understanding of the things that are important to you in a workplace. And maybe that will help you be able to see if those things exist in your current workplace or have the potential to exist, or if not, and maybe that will help you kind of guide your decision-making process of if you should stay or if you should look for something else. And, it sounds like maybe what you really need is just a space for support as you go through this process of figuring out what's going to happen with your job, because it sounds like you're pretty isolated.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful. Like, I don't necessarily know so much about like the assessments because I feel like I know what I want in a job. It's just kind of like, do I want to go out and find that one, like, or try and like keep with what I have? Because I would get a job that's really like the one I have.
Yeah. So it sounds like if you did go find another job, you have a good sense of what that job would be like or what kinds of things you would look for.
Yeah. And like, I definitely, like, I wouldn't be leaving my job, if
unless you had to,
if they weren't like getting rid of us.
Yeah, that's fair. I bet that's really tough too, because career becomes such a big part of your identity, and you were kind of stepping into this new sense of identity, and then the rug kind of got pulled out from underneath you.
Yeah, and like I moved somewhere that was like new to me. I moved here and I uprooted my entire life and like moved away from all my friends and like the life that I had built to do this. So really it's like the only thing for me here. Like I really don't have anything else here.
True. Although I suppose that could be a bit of a silver lining because, not having kids, not having a partner, like moving isn't that bad, right?
Yeah, I guess. But it's also kind of like unless I could move back to like where all my friends are and where I've worked before, then it's just going to be like having to start over again.
True.
So then spending like 2 years in a row being brand new somewhere and not knowing anyone.
So how would you say your work-life balance feels at this point?
So I mean, like time-wise, it feels okay. Like I feel like I have enough time like to myself, but also like because of COVID happening, like there's not really, I don't like do much outside my house because I'm not really comfortable going places or being around people. So I do a little bit of volunteer work, but other than that, I kind of just hang out by myself in my like personal time because there's just like not a lot of options otherwise.
Sure. So I mean, again, feeling pretty isolated because at work you're at home by yourself, and in your free time you're kind of home by yourself too. So there's not really a lot of connection for you in this new place where you've moved. That's got to be a challenge to navigate your time a little bit. If everything is just sort of sitting on your couch in your pajamas, it's maybe hard to differentiate work time from you time.
For sure. I heard someone say like it's not what they say, like it's not working from home, it's living at work.
That's just is that like, how it feels for you?
Like a little bit, just because you do lose that kind of definition of like, now I'm at work. now I'm at home.
I'm going to move to the other side of the couch and I'm at home now.
Yeah, and I live in a small apartment, so it's like,
Yeah.
moving from one room to the other, it's like 10 feet, and those are kind of your only options.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds like being outside is not an option all year round with the weather either.
Yeah, not like it's nice. I do try and spend time outside when
Sure.
it's nice out.
Sure. So I wonder, because we have just a couple minutes left today, and I wonder what your goals might be for our counseling work together, knowing that you came in with some career focused needs, but also there seem to be some personal needs because a lot of your identity is wrapped up in this career piece. And you're going through something kind of traumatic at the moment. So what do you think your goals would be in our work together here?
I think probably my biggest goal is to kind of figure out, like, do I stay or do I go? Like, do I like throw myself full force into like trying to salvage this job if it's salvageable? And that's the hard part.
Like,
don't actually know.
Right.
Or do I just kind of like, not to say abandon ship, but like not focus efforts on that because I need to focus on job search? That's probably my biggest one. And then I think maybe also figuring out ways that I can like connect with other members of my team.
Sure.
In like, not necessarily in making the decision, but like if I do decide like I want to try and see this through, I think I need to find ways to like, how can I be like part of the team working toward that?
Yeah. So it sounds like a couple of goals are wrapped up in there. So one is sort of this idea of deciding to prioritize yourself or prioritize your job environment a little bit. So like, do I go full force into something that feels like it's more centered on you and look for a new job, or something that feels more centered on being dedicated to your current university and sticking it out and seeing what happens? And let me know if that feels off base, but it kind of sounds like, do I focus more on me? Do I focus more on the collective? Like, what do I do there?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think like, I mean, if it was just about me, then it's like,
look for a new job.
Yeah. But I also like, there's that little thing in the back of my head with like, well, but what if there is hope? And like, what if they end up not firing us all and like the program can be salvaged? Then I don't want to just be the person that jumped ship, because like it's a small profession. I don't know that that's a good look, that I want like my colleagues or my students to like see me and be like, oh man, times got tough and she just like went out the door after a year.
Well, that is loaded with a whole lot of worry about the perception of others that we don't have time to dig into today, but we might add to the list. Yeah. So like, that sounds like it's a pretty big goal of yours, just to meaningfully decide what factors are going into this decision for you. Because I can't really tell you what to do, but I can help you sort out the factors that are most important in that career decision-making process for you. And it sounds like too, wanting to build meaningful connections with your coworkers. So if you do decide to stay, your goal would be to find ways to meaningfully connect with others in this new place that you've moved.
And I think, like, not to add too much, because I know we're almost out of time, but I also think like not just feeling connected, but feeling useful.
What do you mean by useful?
Like in terms of like advocating for like our program and for our students, I want to feel like I have a role to play.
I see. In your university setting, in this situation, you want to be a part of the solution as opposed to just sort of sitting there and riding it out.
And I feel like I'm a little disadvantaged because I'm missing all the history and the context. And so it's kind of like, well, how do I contribute given that?
Boy, that's a lot of pressure.
I don't have a lot that I know.
That's a ton of pressure.
Yeah. I mean, I think like, I don't know if it's pressure so much as just like my own like desire to be useful. I mean,
it sounds a little bit like self-inflicted pressure, but
I don't know that I feel pressured to do it so much as I just feel like I want to do that. Like, I really want to help where I can. Like, I want to be able to be of service. Like, I think that's important to me.
Okay, great. Well, it sounds like we've got some goals to identify, some things to dig into, and hopefully you have a place of support as you ride out this process over the next couple of weeks and see what happens with your job. So thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
And we'll go settle up your insurance and stuff on the way out. So, thanks so much, Andrea. We'll see you next time.
Bye.